Good morning. It is my pleasure to open this presentation, which highlights a timely and important intersection between law, linguistics, and digital technology. In today's digital era, language is not only a tool for communication, it is also a potential source of conflict, misinterpretation, and even criminal accusation. This presentation explores how linguistic data, such as chats, social media posts, and voice recordings, are increasingly used as evidence in criminal cases in Indonesia. Yet, as we will see, the legal framework has not fully caught up with the complexities of language as a form of evidence. I commend the presenter for taking a forensic linguistic perspective to address these challenges through a normative legal lens. Without further delay, let us proceed to the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. The title of this presentation is Handling Criminal Offenses with Linguistic Data Evidence in the Digital Era, based on the criminal justice system in Indonesia, a forensic linguistic perspective. This work is a collaboration between Dr. Andika Duta Bahari from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia and Brigadier General Dr. Himawan Bayu Aji from Diponegoro University and the Indonesian National Police. Indonesia currently has more than 210 million social media users, which is about 70% of the total population with an average daily usage of 7.9 hours. As digital communication increases, so does the use of language-based digital data as evidence in cybercrime cases. However, linguistic evidence often falls under vague legal interpretations, especially within the ITE law, which is often viewed as a catch-all regulation. While investigators are allowed to summon experts, there are still no clear legal standards for who qualifies as an expert, particularly in cases involving linguistic data. There are four main aspects we revert to in this review. First, expert testimony is legally recognized under Indonesian law, but the qualifications for linguistic experts remain unclear. Second, language can act as a criminal element, especially through implicit meanings that may signal intent or threat. Third, the forensic linguistic approach highlights the need to analyze context, structure, and implied meanings in speech. For this, we apply a pragmasemantic lens, specifically speech X theory by Austin and presupposition theory by Levinson. Lastly, current laws like the ITE law, PDP law, and KUHP still lack specific rules for handling linguistic evidence. This study used a descriptive qualitative method with a normative juridical approach. Primary sources include the Indonesian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code, the ITE law, Personal Data Protection Law, the Child Protection Law, and the Juvenile Justice System Law. Secondary sources include journal articles, books, theses, and dissertations related to forensic linguistics and criminal procedures. The first issue is the lack of clear qualification for linguistic experts. Although expert testimony is permitted under KUHP, there is no legal standard for what makes someone a linguistic expert. As a result, investigators often rely on IT or sociology experts, not linguistic professionals. The Indonesian National Police has expressed commitment to involving linguistic experts in investigation, but these experts are unevenly distributed, mostly concentrated in Java. This creates logistical and financial challenges for regional police outside Java who must bring in experts from other provinces. Second, there is no standard operating procedure or legal guideline for interpreting linguistic data as evidence. Communications like chats, voice notes, video transcripts, or social media captions can easily be misinterpreted. Speech X theory shows that utterances are actions, not just words. Meanwhile, presupposition theory helps us uncover the assumptions embedded within speech. Without linguistic analysis, legal interpretation becomes vulnerable to bias and oversimplification. A recent example involves Dr. Lita Gading's TikTok post concerning the child of a public figure. Her statements, which were framed as opinion and description, were perceived as defamation. This case shows that linguistic meaning is not always explicit and may be open to multiple interpretations. A forensic linguistic analysis should have been applied to verify whether the elements of defamation were genuinely present. In conclusion, criminal cases involving linguistic digital evidence face unresolved normative and procedural issues. The absence of standards for linguistic experts and interpretation guidelines increases the risk of unjust prosecution. Pragmasemantic theories, especially speech X and Presupposition, prove that language is not just text, but meaningful social action. Therefore, we propose two things. First, establish formal qualification standards for forensic linguistic experts and clear SOPs for linguistic evidence interpretation. Second, regional language centers, such as Balai Bahasa, should take a more active role in training and preparing forensic linguistic professionals to support legal investigations nationwide. This slide lists all primary and secondary resources used in the study, following APA 7th edition style. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to your questions and feedback. You can follow up with us at the contact provided on screen.